In today's episode, I want to talk about something that is probably keeping you stuck in the cycle of pornography. This starts before the screen even turns on. It's a concept known as managing. Hey everybody, I'm Enoch Fossum. Welcome to The Inner Revolution. I'm a marriage and family therapist intern who's specializing in addiction. And you heard it. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about managing. And this is something that a lot of people don't know about, which is why it's a problem in the world of addiction, especially pornography. So, first of all, what is the definition of managing? I'm actually going to start in the opposite of that. What does it mean if you actually don't manage? What does it look like? So, if you don't manage, okay, and this is specific, the specific idea of managing is here de novo. So, if you don't manage, that means first you either looked at a girl for longer than 2 seconds, or this could be a guy. For you female listeners out there, if this is something you struggle with, which is real, then it could be a guy. Okay, it could be a girl if that's what you're into. But if you look at a girl for longer than 2 seconds, if you do a double take, right? Someone attractive walks by, you say, "Oh," and you look back, double take. Or if you have more than 10 seconds of lustful sexual thoughts throughout the entire day. That's what it looks like if you don't manage. And obviously the complete, if you manage, that's the complete opposite of that, right? For most people, they don't even realize that this is where the addiction normally begins. It doesn't even start when you open up the screen, right? When you open up your phone or go to your computer. It started way before then. I had a client recently come in saying that he had a super hard time putting pornography behind him. He's been struggling with it for 10 years. He said he was doing all the right things. He had all of these filters set up on his phone. He was going to Sexaholics Anonymous meetings twice a week. He would make sure that he's calling his sponsor whenever he has an urge, which was normally a couple times a week. He would go to these church meetings that would help him with addiction. He would talk with his ecclesiastic leaders. All of these precautions were put into place. All of these different tools, essentially, for him to be able to put this behind him. But he kept slipping. He kept going back, which landed him in my office. So he was stuck in this cycle of pornography addiction and had no idea what to do. He was having slips every week or so. So not a ton, but I mean once a week. It was really hard for him to go longer than 2 weeks. So when he came in to see me, we talked about this idea of managing. And I said, so how often do you actually let your thoughts take you where they want to go? As in, let's say, for example, and this is something that he talked about, was if you have a thought about this attractive woman that you saw at the gym, and you start fantasizing now about all of these things that you could do with this woman. I said, how often are you letting your thoughts do that? And this client said, well, all the time. And then I asked, okay, so out of a given day, how much of your day is actually taken up with these sexual thoughts, like these lustful thoughts? And he said about 30%. So if we have about a 12-hour day, this would mean that out of those 12 hours, this client is struggling with these lustful, intrusive thoughts for about 4 hours throughout his day. Well, now this makes sense why this client's been having such a difficult time putting pornography behind him. Now, sure, this could definitely be, there could be more pieces to it, right? It's not just saying that managing is going to fix all your problems, because it most likely won't. But it is a key aspect in keeping you stuck to begin with. This would be as if you're working with a cocaine addict, all right? And this cocaine addict slips up every week or two, okay? He just can't get enough. But this would be as if he constantly carried around a little bag of that nice white cocaine powder throughout the day. And, periodically, 4 hours in his day, he would take out his bag and just kind of look at it. Maybe he'd smell it a little bit. Oh man, yeah, that's good. Now he's not actually putting the drugs in his body at all, so we're good. He's fine. But this addict can't seem to get the help that he wants. He keeps slipping up and he doesn't know why. So as a therapist and a doctor, I mean, I think it'd be kind of obvious why this cocaine addict hasn't been able to put it behind him, right? He's literally carrying it around with him, and he smells it, he looks at it for several hours throughout the day. And you might even ask him, like, dude, why are you doing this if this is something that you want to actually put behind you? And he might say something like, well, it makes me feel good. I like the idea of being able to just try it one last time. So that's why I always carry just a little bit around with me just to look at it. But don't worry, like I'm not actually I'm not doing the drugs. I'm not actually doing that. And you might say, well, every like a week or so you are. And so this is the same idea around pornography addiction. So most of the time when it comes to pornography, people just let those thoughts run rampant. If there's this train of thought that comes up, and they say, hey man, here's in this bus here, there's a bunch of porn. Just like hop on, let's go for a ride. Most people are hopping on that train. So do you remember that episode we talked about when we talked about the favorite foods, right? Like eating Reese's peanut butter cups. If you were to start thinking about that right now, your mouth would literally start salivating and your body starts preparing to actually eat it. The same thing goes for pornography. The more you think about it, your body really starts to just prepare to watch it. And that includes doing things like releasing different chemicals like dopamine. A lot of people think that dopamine is only released when you like achieve something great or you're doing something fun. And it does, but it's also a pursuing chemical, which means when you even have the thought of going to do something that might be exciting or that's released dopamine in the past, your body's going to release more dopamine to get you to that point. So if you start to think about pornography, your body's going to start already releasing the dopamine to push you and to get you to that point. And so the more you are thinking about pornography, the more dopamine that's getting released, the more you're just setting yourself up to fail, really, when it comes to urges, right? You don't want to just white knuckle it this whole time, dude. You don't want to just hold on for dear life and hope that today's the day or today's not the day that you have a slip. So the reason so many people stay stuck in this cycle of pornography isn't because they're not trying or because they don't care. It's because they've never learned how to manage before you slip. Managing is all about noticing your thoughts or noticing when this train pulls up and has all this porn in the back. It's about noticing when that happens and then deciding. I have the belief that we can never really control our own thoughts. You really can't at the end of the day. Sometimes you're going to have the most bizarre thoughts come and go. Now, that doesn't make you a bad person. Your worth is always 100%. All those good things. But we can and have control over the thoughts that we focus on. Sure, you can't stop this train from pulling up that has all the porn in the back. But if you decide to get on that train, that is your fault. That's on you. If you have this thought of all the things you could do with this attractive person you saw running or at the gym, and you hop on that train, again, that's on you. You're not a bad person for having this thought of, oh man, she's attractive. And then all of a sudden, this thought of something you can go do to hopefully find her in your bed later that night pops up in your head, right? That's okay. You're not a bad person for that thought just appearing. Now, with this train in front of you, you have a decision. Do you want to hop on that train of thought and go down that? Or do you want to just say, no, I'm good, thanks, go on to the next guy? Managing isn't about guilt tripping yourself every time that you have a thought. It's about noticing it and then redirecting your attention elsewhere. It's about bringing yourself back to the here and now. Most of the time, pornography addiction lives in the when or then. never in the here and now. Well, not never, rarely. For example, did you know the average person that watches pornography, the average person that goes on a porn site, is on there for about 13 minutes and then they're off? So let's go back to that client who doesn't manage for about 30% of his day, which is about 4 hours. So 13 minutes of 4 hours is about 5%. So only 5% was the actual act of PMO, right? Was the actual act of watching pornography. Where'd the other 95% go? It's all up here, all in your head. It's all about managing. And that's in the head on your shoulders, not the head below it. Most people think that they're managing when they're staying busy or they're deleting things off of their phone and they're adding all these different filters. And those are good tools, but they don't actually train your mind to do anything when you have these urges or thoughts come in. So learning to manage at the end of the day is just like exercising. Classic example, right? I mean, you're probably sick of it now at this point. You don't get healthy and strong and super buff watching videos about how to be like Chris Bumstead. You get strong, you get healthy and big when you actually go to the gym. You actually put in the work. So if you want to get better at managing, you have to put your brain through exercise. This means training your attention and ability to bring yourself back to the present moment when you do find yourself hopping on this train of thought. And in today's world, that's one hard skill to do. For real. Every app, every video, every device is created to hold your attention. And we're not used to sitting with our own thoughts. We're not used to sitting with ourselves. So it's hard. So here's what I want you to do this week. As you have these different thoughts, right? If you find yourself not managing, if you see an attractive woman and that spikes a train of thought that leads you to thinking about stuff about pornography or yada, 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 I want you just to bring yourself back to the present moment, whatever that looks like for you. We've talked about plenty of mindfulness exercises on this show. And so if you need some ideas, go check out some past episodes. But the easiest one to do is just to focus on your breath, right? And say, oh, I am noticing I'm having this thought about this attractive woman, or I'm noticing I'm having this thought to go watch pornography. How interesting. And bring yourself back to the present moment, focus on your breath, take 10 deep breaths, and if you lose count, counting to 10, restart. Okay, bring yourself back here. And that'll give this train plenty of time to just kind of go on to the next train stop. Okay? So you don't have to hop on that train whenever it shows up. But starting out, you're going to find yourself getting on the train a lot more than you want to. And that's okay. The fact that you realize you're on the train is probably the biggest step, honestly. That's where it starts. And the more you do this, the more you recognize, oh, I'm on this train. I've been thinking about pornography for 10 minutes now. This isn't where I want to be. And you hop off. The more you do that, the easier it's going to be. The shorter the time will be that you'll be on this train. Again, it's just like exercise. It's going to take time. It's going to take repetition. So you got to do it over and over and over again. And eventually, it's going to be instantaneous. You're going to have a thought. You're going to say, no, I'm good. It's going to go off. Okay? But it can take a while to get there. And if you don't continue to practice, if you don't continue to exercise the managing tool, then yeah, it's just going to get harder for you to actually manage at the end of the day. So practice doesn't make perfect, but practice will make you more consistent when it comes to jumping off the train. So give that a try. I hope you found this episode helpful. You're not alone if this is something that you struggle with. Most people do struggle with pornography addiction, and really any other type of addiction. Managing is hard because no one knows. You could be in a public, crowded area and have all the thoughts you want. No one knows. Only you know. And so start holding yourself accountable. Start noticing what type of thoughts go on in your head. Start noticing when this
train that has all the porn in the back pulls up and you jump on. When you notice, you can jump off anytime you want. Okay, you guys rock. I'll talk to you next week. Peace out.